Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. I'm going to go quick through Najasah and what things are impure from an Islamic point of view. We're not talking here medicine. Medicine depends what you're doing. If you're going to operate on somebody, you need to wash your hands up to the elbow so many times, and after that you put the garment on top of you, green or whatever, and then the sterilized gloves, and then you walk to the theater like this with your hands like this, and you push the door with your bottom. You push back or front, but you're not even allowed to push the door, so you go like this. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Najasah in Islam, which you are expected to clean yourself when this Najasah hits you. And there's several types of Najasah. We don't actually really know 100% why, because some of them, like if you slaughter a sheep and the meat will be clean, you carry the meat, you don't have to remove the Najasah. But if the blood splash on you, you need to clean yourself. Pigs is all najis. So the pig for like now, non-Muslim, and the sheep the same. But for us it's not the same. For some people use the urine of cows to have a shower. For us it's not clean. So here in Islam, Maita, the dead animal, if it is a fish or locust, it's not najis. So you can carry a fish and put it there and go and pray. You don't have to clean your hand, or if it touches your body, so you don't become impure. And also the liver and the spleen, they are full of blood, but they are not najis, and you can eat them, cook them and eat them. And usually the spleen is we call it in medicine, the cemetery of the red blood cells. When the red blood cells reach the 3 months old, they are picked up by the spleen, destroyed, sent to the river to split them and send them out of the body. This is why you get yellow urine and brown feces and stool. And this actually, because the Prophet said it's tahur. This book, the beauty of the book, which I want you to buy it, it's sold by Brother Shazad Naeem in the front, in the admin. It will bring you all the ayah and the hadith, and then tell you if there's differences between the mazahib. If a mazhab, and you will see later what I'm talking about. I really advise you, because you will need this till you die. You will always need to go to the book and say, what's about this? Is this halal, this haram? Why it's halal, why it's haram. If you want to talk about Islam in a university or school or whatever, that's good. God will give you the evidence from the Quran, from the Sunnah, and where there is differences, where the difference came from. So, if it is insect, and you eat an insect, could be some blood on it or not, so it's not counted. The blood counted as impure is the pooled blood. So you might have a joint or a muscle of an animal, there's some streak of blood there, that's halal. But the blood inside the heart is haram, because it's liquid. Allah Azza wa Jal said, أَوْ دَمًا مَسْفُوحًا. The dam, the blood which you pour out. It's like when you have a bucket of water and you spill it, that's called safh, masfuh. So if it's not liquid blood, it's halal. If it's liquid blood, it's haram and it contaminates you. You need to clean your clothing. If it is a remain of animals, like their bones, their horns, their nails, their hair, and their feather, it's halal. So what you need to do, if you have a sheep, you skin the skin and you dye it. When you dye it with the chemicals, become pure. So you can use it, you can wear it. Most of you have wool jumper and wool jacket and things, and might have a blanket made of wool. There's some pillows made of feather. So they are not impure. And you can use them. So the Prophet ﷺ saw an animal, dead animal, and he said, why don't you take the skin, dye it, become pure? He says, dead animal, we thought it's impure. He said, no, if you take the skin, you dye it with chemicals, become pure, you can use it. And also something which the Muslim met when they went to Iraq, the atheists, Majus, who usually worship fire or cows or whatever, they ate the cheese made by them, and the cheese, you take enzymes from the stomach of animals to make it. So the enzyme they take from the stomach of the animals to make cheese is halal, it's not haram. So the Sahaba were eating their, the cheese they make and the milk. So if it is a cow looked after by, I don't know, the reconciliation between the Muslims in India and the Hindu is impossible because they worship the cow and the Muslim eat it. So they eat the god, their gods. Imagine, somebody eating our god. Subhanallah. But you can drink the milk of the cow. You can drink the milk of a sheep from them. And the answer of the Sahaba was, what made haram for us is listed in the Quran. So you can't add and you cannot delete. So you can use their wool, they can use their, if you use bones as tools as well, and the teeth and things. Blood, as I said, is najis, impure, but it is the poured blood. The Christmas pudding, they make it of blood. How do they collect the blood to make it? Because Christmas pudding, there's a lot of blood in it. Do you know that? The Christmas pudding, usually there's blood there. So you need to be careful. Somebody invited you for Christmas. It's like, blood there. They put that, but where they get the blood, I don't know. But I know there's a lot of blood in it. So you're not allowed to eat it. If it is like a pus or something on your skin, small infection, erupted, you don't have to go and wash your clothing. The pig, all of it is najis. And some say the skin is not, the hair of the pig is not najis, is not impure. Now, if it's not impure, can you use it? They're saying here you can use it for stitching. At the beginning, they used to have stitches, which is when you have a cut, they use stitches. So the beginning, they use stitches made of, anybody knows? The string they use to stitch your, it's okay to use like silk or whatever on your skin, but what about inside your body? Are you going to open your body to remove the stitches? So how are you going to stitch your internal organs? They use stitches made of the stomachs of animals. So what happened to them? Digested. So by the time it's digested, you're already healed. So internal stitches, they're made of protein, which is digested and disappear. There were a doctor who, she had a slipper, so she used stitches. This is a joke. And she stitched the slipper. After 1 week, it was okay. She removed the stitches. Don't laugh. So stitches, if it's made of pig, is it halal or haram? Here they're saying it's halal because it's not impure. What about if they say the only heart we have is a pig heart and you need a heart transplant? Is it halal or haram? God forbid you don't need it. But Islam, yeah, according to, from the Quran, yeah, Allah Azza wa Jal said, فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ. If they say necessity allowed dispensation. So if you are desperate for saving a life or your life, somebody else's life, the only available things is a pig heart, and they said this will survive in your body because genetically you are very close to the genetic components of pigs, becomes halal. It's the same if you, and I haven't met anyone like this, if your plane dropped in the desert and the only available drink was wine. Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran, فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ. You drink enough to keep you alive, to rescue or come, and you don't do it unless you are in the same situation. You're desperate to drink something, otherwise you would die. But if you are not desperate, you can't come and say, oh, I can't find any water. Oh, there's some wine there. Okay, I'll take the wine. No, you can't. Because if you stay till tomorrow and the day after tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, 3 days, you will survive without water. So don't come and tell me, oh, the only thing was on the table was wine. What shall I do? I said, don't take the wine. I was new in Britain and invited us to dinner. Drug company invited us for dinner. All the doctors went. We sat on the table. And this doctor next to me, he said, do you mind passing the red wine for me? I said, yes, I do mind. I said, why? I said, I'm a Muslim. I'm not allowed to carry the wine. I'm not allowed to make the wine. I'm not allowed to sell the wine, buy the wine, drink the wine, serve the wine. So, and he forgot about his wine and started talking about Islam. So what is Islam? What's this? What's that? So it's لحم الخنزير, it's haram, najis, but in extreme circumstances you might have to. What about blood transfusion? Are you allowed to take blood from atheists? Again, there's nothing to say it's haram, because the atheist is not impure. And Allah Azza wa Jalla said, the mushrikuna najas, the pagans are impure, they should not come near the Holy Mosque in Mecca after this year, but it was metaphoric impurity. You can't shake hands with them, you can't touch them, you can't take from them. They are not impure. Why? Because Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. All the sons of Adam are noble, made noble by Allah Azza wa Jalla. Their body is not impure. So if you go to an international conference and you are the head of the state, and Putin next to you, it's okay. Shake hands with him. And then next to him, Trump, it's okay. Shake hands with him. Well, you won't, will you? So, lahm al-khanzir, if somebody vomited, his vomit or his urine or his stool or feces, it's impure. But small amount is allowed, like a child, vomited a bit and splash on you. You don't have to go and change your clothing. You're okay, just rub it off and clean it. But it's not impure, not like that. Somebody, you are there and he thought you are the loo and he started pouring his water on you. That's different. The only exemption here is saying if it's a boy and still breastfed, he's not eating food, if he splashes some of his urine on you, it's okay, you don't become impure. If it's a girl, it does. And that's when they are still breastfed, only milk. Why they said that? They said that they talked about it because most likely that boys get picked up easily by men and things. While if it's a girl, I don't know why for sure, but they're saying here probably because they are picked up more, so more likely to be carrying a wet boy. After you carry him, your arm is wet, and then you have just brush it with water, will be fine. And if it's a gear, you have to wash the clothing 3 times. But I don't know. Probably with the time we will know why the girls you have to wash the clothing and the boys you have to just pour some water on it, brush it. There's 3 things for the boys to know, which is not the case with the girls. There's something called wadi, which is a white stuff come before the water come, before you urinate. And it is, you need to clean yourself and you need to make wudu. So you lose your wudu if it came by itself without urine. If it came by urine, you need to repeat your wudu anyway because you lost your wudu. And the madhi, when a young man is aroused, sexually aroused, is a thick, watery stuff, and that will make you lose your wudu as well. You need to clean it and wash your private parts and make wudu. You lost your wudu. And Ali ibn Abi Talib was getting more of these, and he asked somebody else to ask the Prophet on his behalf because he was a bit shy to ask the Prophet. They kept you awake all night, Yusuf, up there. Drink some coffee before coming to my class. And the third one is the sperms, the mani, the semen, which ejaculated when you get married and you sleep with your wife. And now here, only Hanafi say it is najas, it's impure. Only Hanafi. Maliki, Shafi, Hanbali say it is not impure. You can just, if it's wet, you can wash it with some water. If it is dry, you just rub it. So you have to have ghusl. You have to have shower and ghusl. But it is not impure in the 3 madhab, Maliki and Shafi and Hanbali, only najas in Hanafi. And most of you come from Pakistani background or Bangladeshi or something, and it is for them najas. And why the others say it's not najas? Because Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he said the Prophet ﷺ was asked about it, and he said it's similar to your saliva and your mucus. So it's excretion from your body, part of you is not actually impure. Now when you go to animals, and again we are in a country, you go out, you either catch a bus or train, or you ride a car with your father or your mother, you have BMW, you have Nissan, you have Lada, you have Skoda, whatever you have. But if you are living in the Middle East, or if you are living in the countryside, I was living in the countryside in Syria, in Damascus, and most of the time your vehicle is either a donkey or a horse, and sometimes they ride cows, they're not supposed to, or your mom give you the bucket and say, go and milk the cow or go and milk the sheep. So you might be milking your cow and it does her business while you're milking the cow and splash come on you. So do you need to go and change your clothing and wash it? Now they're saying if it is from eatable animal, no. Cow, sheep, goat, but if it is from wild animal, you do. And he brought here, obviously we'll find the hadith in the book, why it is not najas and why it is najas. They bring the hadith from the Prophet ﷺ. Why? Now, you cannot clean yourself with any dry animal dropping. The Prophet ﷺ wanted to do his business once, and he asked the Sahabi Ibn Mas'ud, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, to bring him 3 stones. And he brought 3 stones, but one of them was a dropping of an animal, too hard. He didn't think it was not a stone. And the Prophet ﷺ gave it back to him. He said, no, that's not allowed. You need to clean yourself with stones. So every time you go to the loo, you need to take 3 stones with you. Yeah? That's what we do. Rujain? So Islam is made, it's very, very simple, but it's very practical, because when we came to Britain, there's no water in the toilet. What do? You use toilet tissue. Why you use? Is it halal? Yeah, it's even better than a stone. At least it's very clean. So means that yes, you can use tissues to wipe yourself after doing your business, and it is halal. If somebody said, no, you have to use water, what do you say? The Prophet ﷺ used the stones, and this is similar to the stones, even cleaner than the stones. In the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the people of Quba started using water. After you use the stone or tissue, you can use water, and Allah Azza wa Jalla documented that in the Quran. He said, لمسجد أسس على التقوى من أول يوم أحق أن تقوم فيه رجال يحبون أن يتطهروا. When some people they build a mosque rival to the mosque of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah Azza wa Jalla told Prophet Muhammad about it, that they are using that as a base to fight against you and Islam. So the Prophet sent Sahaba to burn it down. And Allah said, a mosque which was built from the beginning on piety, it deserves that you go and pray in it, because there's people in that mosque who like to be pure and clean. So Prophet Muhammad ﷺ sent to them, he said, come and tell me, what do you do? Allah said to you, about you, فيه ناس يحبون فيه رجال يحبون أن يتطهروا. What do you do? They said, we use water. After we use the stone and things, or even without stone sometimes, we use water. He said, oh, that's a nice idea. Yeah, you can come, Tamina.
عندي الصور هون بيصور الفيديوغرافر ياخذ فيديوز ولا لا؟
From the back or the front?
Whatever.
Do you mind if we take videos from the back? Your faces will not appear, yeah.
What time does this lesson finish?
35 plus.
Okay, I'll bring him around here.
Right, okay. So using water was a habit or bid'ah, innovation created by the people of Quba. The Prophet ﷺ didn't know about it until Allah told him in the Quran that these people are really nice because they like to be even cleaner by using water. So, animals dropping. What about you? I don't know. I mean, you go to a zoo or something and could be splashed by it. If it's edible animal, you need to not worry about it. If it is wild animal, you need to clean yourself. Al-Jallala, another thing in Islam which doesn't exist in the West, we became more aware about it in the late 80s, early 90s, 1990s. Have you heard of mad cow disease? Any of you? What happened that cows started exhibiting dementia, became demented, and they had mad cow disease. And if you eat the flesh of that cow, you have the chance of becoming demented at early age. Could be 20, 30. I saw one case, he was 30 something, and he developed mad cow disease. What happened now? They were feeding the cows with food mixed with dry head of animals, of sheep, the brain of sheep. You're not allowed to sleep in my class. Shall we bring a cup of coffee? We haven't got coffee anyway. We haven't got one. But what happened now? They were feeding the cows with part of the food they give them. Head of animals, people don't eat it. In Syria, they do. I mean, you go there, they will sell you the head and you take the brain inside and the flesh, whatever. When we went to Syria with a couple of British friends with us, we went to the market in Syria. Oh, head of sheep. on the shelf for sale. People here don't eat it, but they go and sell it to the farmers. The farmers dry it, crush it, and feed it to the cows. Usually sheep have something called scabies, a brain disease. Doesn't affect us, doesn't affect them as such. If this brain is eaten by cows, the virus become violent and hit the cows. And if you eat the cow, you become demented. So they killed all the cows who had the mad cow disease. Then we realized that if you let the cow or any animal eat animals, this is one of the harm. This is why Muslims are not allowed to eat animals that eat animals, except, you said, which animal you can eat which already eating other animals? Fish, yeah. Fish, why is that, Sarah? Why fish eat other fish and we're still allowed to eat the predator? Because you don't know. That's a good question. Good answer. نصف العلم لا أدري. I think Shafi'i said, half of the knowledge I don't know. Because if you know the other half is really good. Any other? Why? Farah? Because they are... Yeah, they are, or river animals, or lake animals, but why? Because they are cold-blooded animals. The blood is temperature really 4, 10, but never above 20. While human, the germs which will hit you, they are germs which survive at that 30 degrees centigrade. But if you take any germs which doesn't survive at 30 degrees, will die. Your body will kill them straight away, so they will not survive. So fish are cold-blooded, and all the products of the water are allowed for us to eat, except which animals from the sea we can't eat? Yeah? Biology now. No. Livestock. Sharks you can't eat. Animals which poison you, like jellyfish and similar. Yeah? Like eels. Are they poisonous? If they are poisonous, become haram because they are poisonous. If they are not, but jellyfish usually very poisonous and similar. So jalala in Islam is a terminology not used in the West. Animals which is eating rubbish or dead animals or eating worms or feces, whatever. Pigs are the most dirty animal, but also animals like chicken or sheep could eat rubbish. When they eat rubbish, including, could be dead animals, could be dead fish, it could be dead whatever. Dead fish, I don't think they will reach it. Probably if they eat rubbish, germs will be plenty of it. You're not allowed to eat that animal unless you take the animal and feed the animal pure food like grass or grain for 3 days minimum. You need, if it's like free-range chicken, you can eat the egg, free-range egg, but if to eat the hen, the chicken producing that egg, if it is free-range, you have to keep them indoor or feed them pure food for 3 days before you eat them. And when mad cow disease came, we came to realize that, oh, subhanAllah, probably this is what will happen. If you eat animals who eat rubbish, you could get all sorts of hidden diseases. So Corona came from, where Corona came from? The most likely? Yeah, either parts or that animal, the long animal with the scales. What's called? The Chinese loved it. Yeah, they said it's transmitted from that animal to human. So this is why we're not allowed to eat parts. Why? But they eat blood usually. They suck blood. And they are wild animals. They are not actually tame animals. And tame animals are usually listed in the Quran or the Hadith. So we have sheep, cows, goats, animals which eat mainly vegetables, animals which eat only grass and grain. So they don't eat other animals, they are not predators. Oh. So this is the jallala. So you need, that's become haram. Although it is a sheep or a cow or a chicken, but become haram because they eat rubbish. And rubbish could be like any filthy food, filthy products. The next one in the book, he put khamr. The khamr is najis, and here where there's also two views. In the book, he will explain it to you. On one side, it's najis, it's impure to eat or drink, sorry. Because Allah said, إنما الخمر والميسر والأنصاب والأزلام رجس من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوه. So he said, khamr, in gambling, with all sorts of gambling, they are religious. So khamr, you could say it's impure because you have a bottle of wine. What about gambling? There's nothing you eat from gambling, but they're both called najis. So najasa here is metaphoric. You're not allowed to drink alcohol, but alcohol itself, he's saying here that the views, some say it is impure, and some views say it is pure. And that saved us in the 21st century because we use it. We use alcohol to wipe all our hands. And when the corona was hitting, you must wash your hands with sterilizing products, which alcohol was the main one, alcohol gel. This is why if somebody say, oh, you can't use gel because it is alcohol gel because it's impure, you say it is pure. But the impurity is metaphoric. We should have closed the door. Metaphoric is not actually the alcohol itself impure. It's impure to eat, to drink. Haram to drink, haram to carry, haram to sell, haram to buy. But it's not haram to use to sterilize your skin.